Hello, everyone, and book lovers alike. Welcome to another enlightening discussion here in Reader's Magnet 2022 American Library Association author interview. This is Riza, and with me is one of Reader's Magnet featured author, Kerry Marzock, author of Raven's Way. Hi, Kerry, how are you?
Hi, Riza.
That's good. That's good. I'm so excited to talk to you today about you and your book. So, you, Carrie will be sharing to us about her book and what inspired her to write it. So, yeah, let's start. And starting with your book, can you tell us what the book is about? What's the story behind it?
Raven's Way is about a character with Raven who happens to be part of a very, very old wood Bergun, and he is searching for a killer that killed his wife and born. Takes him to Philadelphia, where he meets up with Detective Captain Morello. They start looking for a killer that murdering innocent civilians. And along the way, they also form a love attachment, so to speak. So it's kind of like wolf and human. Even though Johnny is in the human state all the time, he can change to a wolf anytime he wants to. And it ends with a very very exciting battle on Valley Forge Memorial Park outside of Philadelphia.
Ooh, ooh, that's interesting. It's about wolf, and that's a really different world that you created. So, can you share interesting facts about you that you wanted to share to your fans?
Interesting facts about me. Well, I'm old and retired. Um, I was married for just short of 40 years before my husband Richard passed away in 2015. We were together and we had some wonderful dogs. In fact, one of them, by the name of Rain, who's a Shepherd Chow mix, plays a big part in the Raven series. She is the dog of Kathleen Morello, and I'm originally from the Lancaster area, moved to Philadelphia in 1975. Met my husband shortly thereafter, and been writing pretty much all my life. Didn't really start writing fiction as far as novels until 2006, though. Prior to that, it was poetry and short stories.
That's amazing. A very good way to, start writing, even if it's, not that early. It's never too late to start something, right?
Yeah, I was 5 and 6 years old. I would take Walt Disney characters like Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck and the Roadrunner, and I would write 2 or 3 page stories about them. And my mother would always read them, and she would say, "Oh my God, you're going to be a writer someday." So
And it did come true. You're able to write your book. I mean, books. I'm sure you have other books as well, and we'll talk about them as well later on. And when you were writing, what was the impact of Raven's Way to you and to your loved ones?
well, to me, like I mentioned, I had been writing poetry and short stories for a long time. Um, some of the poetry was long, multiple page, epic type poems. And so then one day I just started writing down an idea of a book. And eventually it did develop into that. And when I wrote it and I finally finished it, I felt extremely relieved. and proud and surprised that I was able to do it. And I know that my husband was proud of me, and my parents were very proud of me, as was my family. So I was very happy.
And you should. Not everyone get the chance to write and create their own world, by writing. And I'm sure if I will be your granddaughter, I would also be proud of you. I'll inform a lot of my friends that I have someone, or I know I have a grandmother who wrote a book actually. So yeah, I'm sure you must have a very supportive family for you to reach at that point.
I, I do, and I'm very grateful for that.
Yes, and you're very blessed to have them in your life. And when you were writing the book, did you consider using a different title? And if you did, what were the titles?
Well, actually, I did not. It was kind of funny. I had the name. I was back at the end of well, it was early 2006, I think it was, and for some reason, Raven, the word Raven, kept banging around in my head, and and then one night, a couple of nights later, I was watching this TV detective show, and the detective would always end a lot of his comments by "I'll do it my way." And then a couple days later, I was watching a television show that had Frank Sinatra, who, of course, made the song very popular song "My Way," and so I kept saying "Raven, my way, Raven, Raven's Ray," and that was it. And I just stuck with it, and I just started writing about Raven's Way, and really never had another title at all.
Wow, that's a different way of, considering a title. I never heard anyone use that or started um, from a song. So that's really interesting. And is the story based on your own experience, or I mean, you mentioned that you started the title from a song, right? So is the overall story based on your own experience?
Well, no, since I'm not a werewolf, but or a wolf, but I always grew up with this love of wolves, actual wolves, and at a very young age, just loved horror and scary movies, which was really my mom took me into that. She loved them too, and I knew eventually if I was going to write any kind of book or anything, it would be about wolves or werewolves or vampires, and so I just eventually allowed my crazy sick mind to delve into that, and was happy that I did.
Well, I'm happy you did too, because you're able to write the book. And what was your favorite part of the book?
I think well, being from Philadelphia, and Philadelphia is such an historic city with all kinds of places throughout the city. I was able to not only merge the story of this search for this killer, and then eventually this battle with another clan, a warring clan, but then I was able to merge the love story together also between this super handsome, sexy guy, Johnny Raven, with this very beautiful detective, Kathleen Morello, and merge the two together. And then at the end, um, just see how everything comes to takes place within the battle, and there were parts of the book which I go into great detail about explaining the history of the city. Um, but then also, uh, uh, Kathleen Morello actually happened to live in my mind but in the same house that I lived in on Sherman Avenue back in Philadelphia. So she was there with me all the time, so to speak.
Oh my, that sounds cool. And how do you keep your readers interested in your book?
Well, I think the pace of the book, and also I've had a number of people who have read the book saying that as they read, they could actually picture the scenes in their head, almost like reading a movie. And that's almost the way I like to write. Um, yeah, when I write a scene, I try and capture the scene in my head before I even start writing it. So I think a lot of readers really like the way I write and the fact that they can visualize what I write rather than just read the words.
That's one way to really, keep your readers interested. And what will you tell people who would like to read your book?
Get ready for an exciting adventure and ride with Johnny Raven and Kathleen Morello and a few other characters. Of course, Rain, who's just a beautiful dog. Unfortunately, she has passed also. So I keep her alive in my books. And um, there is a sequel, and so the book doesn't stop when you finish the last page of Raven's Way, so you can continue on to the next part, and I've actually started the third novel also.
Oh, that's great. Can you share us at least the title of those other books that connected to Raven's Way?
Absolutely. The second book is titled Raven's Rage, Order of the Claw, and in that towards the middle to end of Raven's Way, I do bring in a vampire presence, and that vampire presence becomes um, much more integrated into the story in Raven's Rage. The third book, when it's finally published, when I finish it, it will be titled Raven Unleashed. So there is a definite continuation of the book. How long it'll go, how long the series will go, I don't know. I'm not sure.
I'm sure you find ways to, extend the story, especially now that people are more aware about your book. And
Right.
lastly, Carrie, I wanted to know how is it working with Reader's Magnet?
Great. Michael, who's my predominant contact, has been just fantastic all the way through everything. I love the guy, and we have, I think, a good rapport. Um, I talk a lot with Joe, and you've had some other people that are no longer there that I dealt with. So, um, and I know that Reader's Magnet definitely has my interests at heart. So things are moving pretty well. Um, there was kind of a glitch in the whole thing because I had started with Reader's Magnet um, back in 2020. But then, unfortunately, in 2021, and this is kind of a little off base a little bit, and I don't have to go into it in detail, but in September of last year, Hurricane Ida came through Philadelphia, and we lived along the Schuylkill River, and we lost our home. And so, for the next 7 to 8 months, it was just crazy trying to get everything done. But with Michael's help and Joe's help and everything, we're getting there. And now I'm anxious to do the DC show. I was supposed to do the show in Arizona, Tucson. Things kind of fell apart on my end, and I never got a chance to go. So I'm really, really excited about doing the ALA show in DC in next month.
Well, thank you so much for those wonderful words, kind words for us for Readers Magnet. And I'm so thankful that we had the chance to talk today, Carrie. It was a wonderful talk. And thank you as well for sharing what Raven's Way is about and for um, telling us your story. And anyone interested in buying the book, grab a copy. It's available in Carrie's website. That's www.kerrymarzock.com or in amazon.com. And yeah, thank you for the time again and enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank
Thank you, Carrie.
you. Right.
And as we say it here in Reader's Magnet, we share your story with the world. Good day, everyone.